For this video, I'm going to be reviewing Firefight Reloaded. Firefight Reloaded is a single-player horde survival mod for Half-Life 2. It's only single-player right now, but multiplayer will be added in a future update. I think it's actually currently in alpha. There is, I think, a link to an article talking about how to get into it on the Steam store page. But I didn't ever play it. I just played it by myself. But anyway, yeah, the basic setup and premise of Firefight Reloaded is it's kind of, yeah, it's basically a horde survival sandbox-ish style. I don't know if sandbox is the correct term, but it's a horde survival mod for Half-Life 2, and you choose between one of 5 different maps to play on, and you select one of 5 different game modes, and you basically just run around a map, trying to survive. The goal is to survive as long as possible, essentially killing enemies and avoiding being killed yourself. And every time you kill enemies, you get money, which allows you to buy supplies and health and weapons and stuff like that. There's no like progression or story. It's just, pick a random map and play and kill stuff and have fun. Uh, it adds some new weapons and some new features, like for example, kicking, bunny hopping, iron sights, stuff like that, and new weapons like this thing called an OICW and a flare gun, both of which were, and oh yeah, and a sniper rifle, a combine sniper rifle, which were all weapons removed from the beta version of Half-Life 2. And I think the models and mechanics come from SMod. I know that. I know that kicking does, and also there's bullet time too, which is also taken from SMod, I'm pretty sure. So it's kind of like elements of SMod mixed in with, it's like SMod Horde Survive. I don't want to say it's completely SMod because it's lacking a lot of the stuff that SMod does. Whatever, okay, enough with the SMod comparisons. Anyway, so that's basically the gist of the mod. It's Horde Survival. Like I said earlier, it's only single player, but they're adding multiplayer in the future, so that should be pretty fun. But I'm gonna jump right into it. The pros, the things that I liked about this game. The first thing is it's extremely simple and it's extremely fun. There's not really, I mean, it's not very complicated, but it doesn't really need to be. It's kind of like, this isn't really a good comparison, but it's the first thing that pops into my mind. It's kind of like, I would say, something along the lines of Nazi zombies from World at War. I mean, obviously, or World at War, from the Call of Duty series. Obviously, it's, in terms of its actual, like, function and how it plays, it's completely different. But in terms of just the core concept, it's pretty much the same. You just get bored, pick a random map, pick a random game mode, go into an arena and kill enemies that rush at you. It's kind of like that. Same general setup as pretty much every other Horde mode game ever made ever, only this time it's given like a Half-Life skin and with Half-Life gameplay and stuff like that. And it's got, that same perk that all Horde mode games do, that they're really easy to get into and kill some time on. Another thing is there's a lot of match parameters to modify. Outside of the 5 different game modes and the 5 different maps, there's stuff like FOV. You can, change the like whether or not it's like in how in every shooter your character is right-handed, you can change it to where your character is left-handed. So all the guns and shit and grenades, for example, go over to the left side of the screen, which is pretty cool. You can tweak the difficulty. It goes everywhere from easy to like hell on earth. There's lots of other modifiers. You can modify like enemy behavior, like how I think like how accurate they are, whether or not Metro cops can deploy man hacks and stuff like that, and how zombies and shit like that behave. I mean, I could go on. The list of things you can modify, like the individual enemy behaviors, it was pretty fucking huge. So there's stuff like that. So you'll definitely, there's definitely a lot of variety that can be had within that, within the game. Also, just extensive customization of the interface as well. Like I said, with the you can change a lot with like the FOV and the view model FOV, and whether or not your character is left-handed. The 5 game modes are really fun to play. The game itself is very just addictive. And like I said earlier, it's very easy to pick up and play. The new weapons that they added, like the flare gun, the OICW, the sniper rifle, also the deagle, and the saw, are really fun to use. Especially the saw. Saw just like fucking tears through things. And you know, like I said earlier, there's several the new gameplay elements they added, like iron sights and kick and stuff. They're really cool and interesting. Especially kick is like overpowered as shit. You can like kick a fucking antlion guardian and kill them in one hit. Okay, well, you can't do that, but you can pretty much just go around and kick people and they'll die instantaneously. It's pretty hilarious and pretty awesome at the same time. Bullet time is godly. That was a lot of fun to mess around with. Bunny hopping is my personal favorite addition. You can go so unbelievably fast bunny hopping. Like, it's amazing. It makes you feel like you're playing fucking, like, Quake or something. And they added some new gun sounds to all the guns to make them sound, like, beefier, and, like, they have more weight and more damage to them. And, yeah, the new gun sounds are pretty good. Now for the cons and things I didn't like, and I'm gonna be perfectly honest, there weren't really a lot of these. The only things I could think of are, there's only 5 maps at the moment, which I'm assuming they're going to add more later, but the 5 maps, I guess that can get kind of, I can see, I didn't like sit down and play it for, I just like played through it for a couple hours. I didn't sit down and play through it for like a week straight, but if you're that kind of person, I can imagine that it would get kind of boring to play on the same 5 maps over and over again. And also the maps themselves are repurposed, or yeah, I can't speak, repurposed deathmatch maps, so they can, some of them, like, a couple of them, like 1 or 2, play a little bit awkwardly because they're not really meant for, like, horde survival or whatever. It wasn't really that big of a deal. It was just something I noticed a little bit. You know, like, for example, one map might be really hard because there's not really a whole lot of weapon placement on it, whereas another map, one of the smaller, more, like, fast-paced free-for-all focused maps, has, like, a shitload of weapon pickups on it, so you can just kind of, like, run around a pattern, become invincible, and never have to worry about running out of ammo. Also, the balance between the game modes is kind of wonky. Although I think that might be intended on the developer's part. Like, for example, Combine Assault is like fucking ridiculously hard. Like, good luck getting by the first like 5 minutes. Whereas Zen Assault and Antlion Attack are like really, really easy. Like, I lasted about an hour on both of those. And the only reason I died on them was because I just got bored and said fuck it and got myself killed. But, yeah, they were pretty easy. Of course, I don't know if that was just, like, I burped, sorry. I don't know if that was just, a side effect of, the maps I was playing them on. The only ones, the one where all the different factions fight each other, or, well, you can alter it to where they don't, but there's one where you can get all of the factions that, like, rush at you, the Combine, the zombies, the Zen aliens, and the ant lions, and that mode's pretty hectic and pretty awesome. Although I would recommend, personally, making it to where they can fight each other, because that just makes it a lot more chaotic and fun to play. And the zombie game mode was pretty fun too, but good god all fucking mighty, they spawn in like 20 million zombies. It's ridiculous. It's fun though. And then the last con that I can think of is that there's no multiplayer, but like I said, it's already in alpha, and they're going to add it in the next update. As a matter of fact, I saw there was an update queued for in my Steam library today while I was recording this. They might have already added it, I don't know. So it's not even really a big deal. It's just something to, like, I guess, be aware of when you're getting it, although, like I said, it's not really a big thing because it's already being added. So the final verdict of Firefight Reloaded is this. Firefight Reloaded is the ultimate in time waster technology. It's very easy to pick up when you're bored, and it's perfect for killing a few hours. The new mechanics added are subtle, but they go a long way in changing up the way things play and making the game a lot more fun. Although initially it can seem pretty light on content, there's so many different modifiers that can tweak the settings and give you completely different results that's ridiculous. Right now, I would say it's well worth the download, as it's the perfect cure for boredom. Once multiplayer is added, though, then I can see this mod becoming essential for Half-Life fans, as I have no doubts that it'll provide groups of friends with countless hours of fun. I can picture it becoming kind of like a Half-Life 2 version of Sven Co-op, where you can just, like, hop on a Half-Life game with 3 or so friends and fuck around and have a really good time. So yeah, that's Firefight Reloaded, and that's the end of this review. Like if you like, dislike if you disliked. Don't do either if you are completely apathetic. Subscribe or not, doesn't matter. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.